This is the second video for lesson 1.2, and in this one I'm going to go through the proof of the angle sum theorem from your notes. You can also find the same proof at hotmath.com. It's a little more complicated, and so I wanted to just give it its own space and make a little bit bigger place for us to do it. The theorem, the angle sum theorem, says the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a triangle is 180. So what we're going to do is we're going to prove that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is equal to 180. So we have to prove that, okay? So what I'm going to do is, you see this little picture here on the left, that's going to help us do our proof. And so basically we're going to create the situation where we have this triangle XYZ right here. And the red line is not something that we have originally. So if I look at triangle ABC that's over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct this auxiliary line in such a way that it is parallel to AB. All right, so I'm constructing that. And so since I'm constructing it, I can make it however I want. So what I'm going to do, number one, is I'm going to say triangle XYZ is here. Why? Because it is. Okay. Now, for number two, I'm going to say that line AY, and I just say point A because I have to come up with another point to name the line. I can't just say line Y. But I'm going to say AY is parallel to XZ. Why is it parallel? Because I constructed it to be parallel. Okay, so I constructed it to be parallel, and that's what I had to do, okay? And it's going to go through this point Y. That's part of my triangle. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to say is I'm going to say, looking at this triangle, what are some things that I know? Now, keeping in mind that my end goal is to say angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is 180, what are some other things that I know? Okay, I know some things like, because these two lines are parallel, I know some things about, let's say, those two angles because they're alternate interior angles, so that might be helpful. I know some things about these two angles because they're alternate interior angles. If that's my transversal, that could be helpful. So you're looking for things like that. I also know what about these three angles right there. What do I know about those three angles? That could be helpful. Okay, so I look for things that I know, and maybe I can pull those in to help me, and that's really how you approach a proof like this. So I'm going to say some things, and sometimes like you start writing out a proof and you might find that maybe I didn't really need to say that, but it doesn't hurt. It's just like having a little bit of extra, so it's okay. So I'm going to say angle 4 plus angle 1 plus angle 5, and I'm going to say, technically, it should say the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 5 equals 180. I'm not really, what do you call it? I'm not like super uptight about getting all the notation perfect in a proof because I feel like we're just kind of guiding the thought and writing down our notes about it. And so really, if you're reading a proof, you kind of know what we're talking about. So I'm not going to get really uptight if you just say the angle 1 instead of measure of angle 1, because in a proof like this, I feel like that's okay. And that's just me. Someday you might have a teacher that doesn't feel that way, but that's how I feel about it. So why is angle 4 plus angle 1 plus angle 5 equal to 180? Why do we know that? Well, we know that because it's a straight angle, okay? Because any time you add the three or any angles that make a 180 degree angle, that's what it is. It's a straight angle, okay? I know that a straight angle, I know that this measures 180 degrees, and I know that this plus this plus this is equal to that angle. So it's also a substitution idea. Okay, again, because this is 180, and this plus this is equal to the red, so it would have to be 180, so that's why it's substitution. Okay, so that's 180, so that's good because I know that in the end I'm going to have to say some things are equal to 180. I'm going to have to say 1 and 2 and 3 are 180. I've got the 1 in there, but what about the 2 and the 3? So what do I know? So remember that we said if this is parallel right there and this is a transversal, what do I know about 4 and 2? So for step number 4, I'm going to say angle 4 is congruent to angle 2 because alternate interior angles. And what else? Because of that same reason. Okay, so if I take out this transversal and instead I look at this one, I know that angle 5 is congruent to angle 3, same reason. So I'm going to put that in number 4 as well. Now, if angle 4 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 5 is congruent to angle 3, then I can now say, that instead of angle 4, I'm going to put angle 2 plus angle 1, and instead of angle 5, I'm going to put angle 3. So what did I just do? I just used what property? Substitution. And so I use substitution property to say that the sum of those three angles is equal to 180, and we've proven that triangle. So the reason that this theorem is a little bit hard is because you have to have this idea about constructing that extra line. It was the same with the isosceles triangle theorem. You have to know about, being able to construct an extra line there. But you do it so that it's productive and helpful. Okay, so hopefully that helps. As far as proofs go, remember that you've been doing proofs for many years. Every time you show your work in an algebra problem, you're proving algebraically why the answer is what it is. And so this is just more words and more pictures and less X's and algebra, things like that. But you're still doing the same thing, but it's a little bit more of a puzzle and it's unfamiliar, and so that's why it feels hard. So please don't feel like it's too much. It's okay, and you can try, and you're not going to be perfect at this, especially here at the beginning, but try it, do your best, then check your answers and see if you can go back and rethink it so that you can feel like you can get there on your own next time.